morning to everyone. Welcome back to our channel. This channel is called Khoisan Talks, and here we discuss everything Khoisan, our lineage, our heritage, our cultures, our traditions, and our religions. My name is Sabiha, and I am a Khoisan lady from South Africa. On the other end is my co-host. Uh, she can introduce herself, sis.
Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon and good morning, and welcome to our podcast. I hope we can bring a message through to the viewers tonight and to ourselves. Thank you for tuning in, and you're most welcome. Please like, subscribe, and share. And please leave a comment. Thank you, sis. Back to you.
Thank you, sis. So today's discussion interesting again. Well, I find everything interesting. So we said we're going to talk a bit about our nation. We've been talking a lot about spirituality and enlightenment, and so tonight we're just going to talk a bit about our people and who we are and what we are, because I've noticed in the last 2 months that there's this uh, idea. I don't even know what to call it. This um, falseness floating around about Khoisan and who we are and what we are. There seems to be a bit of confusion about that. So, henceforth, the discussion tonight about Khoisan and who we are and what we are. This channel is called Khoisan Talks for a reason, because for so many years we've not had a voice. And everybody has always told our story, who we are, what we are, where we come from, as if we are an extinct species. But we are all good and well, and it's time for us to tell our own stories. And so there's this dialogue floating around that Khoisan is somehow a mixture of Asian, um, European, and Bantu. And so these three people mixing created uh, coloreds. And this is a term, for those of you who don't know, in South Africa, we are still referred to as coloreds, um, which is a derogatory term. Um, I do not wish to be called this term, but it is still used. It is so generally used, so widely used, that when we fill in applications for work, for a bank account, anything basically, you tick a box called colored. And so this falsity that has been going on, that coloreds are somehow admixture of different people, um, just to perpetuate the lie of colored. Is. As a matter of fact, most colored people don't know that they are Khoisan. Most colored people will tell you that they had a German grandfather, or they had a English great grandfather, or there's always some, almost to um, solidify the lie, the falsity. Somehow you must grapple at something to make, because it is our very existence that we are talking about, who you are, what you are, where you come from, what created you.
Uh, but
Yes.
to my understanding, it's just me, I think they also do that because not not all of all of us are doing that, but I think it's also because we don't want to acknowledge also that we are actually poison.
Mm.
And I know that they don't want to hear that. The other day they made fun of the type of hair like our Bushman people,
Mm. Mm.
the type of hair. They said they had this picture on social media and they said this child is saying he's a buster. Now, buster, viewers, is another derogatory term for colored.
mm,
And
mm,
I'm from Namibia, so the buster people, you will find them mainly in a small city called Rehoboth, which is in our southern part of Namibia. So if you and they made fun of this boy's hair, the way the hair is, and I came in where I said that, but as a matter of fact, we are all Khoisan, irrespective. Does hair define you? Does your hair define who you are? Is it such a big thing to have straight hair? And that we should be proud of who we are. And irrespective of the hair type we have, we are all Khoisan. Like my sister said, they are being still called colored in Cape Town, and most colored people are, of course, proud Khoisan.
mm,
So, yeah, so it's not only that they have the sense of belonging by saying they want to belong somewhere. It is that as well, but in my opinion, it's people have that thing of, no, I'm not that, especially my people. And I have to be honest about that because I live among them and I see and I have to educate them because it's not because they most of them know, most of them some of them know, some of them don't know. So sometimes you have to educate them to remind some need reminders and some need to be enlightened. Some really don't know.
mm.
Yeah.
It's because of our past. It is because of our history. When you say that you are Khoi, or that you are Griqua, or that you are Nama, these terms, or Bushman, these things were seen as bad, lower than a lesser being, because they treated us like that. We are the lesser being. And so you didn't want to be called the Bushman, and you didn't
Mm,
want to be called the Griqua, and you didn't want to be called a Khoi,
mm,
and because in your mind, what was placed in our minds is that we were somehow uneducated, we were uncultured, we ran around with a little piece of cloth around our loins, you know, and so this idea of being Khoi, being Griqua, being Nama is seen as bad. You don't want to be associated with it. So you buy into the falsity of you are mixed,
mm,
and you have a Bantu grandfather and a Khoisan grandmother, and you have a Khoisan mother and a European grandfather. You know, because we've always wanted to belong somewhere with somebody. We are the only thing, I think, the only nation in the world that this has happened to. I've not heard another
mm,
nation. No, I've heard one other nation speak like us, and that is the African American nation. They sound a lot like us. They always searching for, where do I belong? What do I belong? What do I believe? Because everything that was us, that
mm,
identified us, and that gave us pride and honor, and was all stripped away. Now you can't speak a language. Now you can't cook the way you cook. Now you can't love the way you love. Everything that is associated with you is seen as bad and backwards and uncultured. And we were just talking in the last episode about how smart our people were in terms of ecology. They knew not to stay in one place to overwork the land.
mm,
Yeah. They knew the earth had to replenish. And so they were um, pastoral people, you know. The, the other thing that also uh, um, seems to really get me when it comes to the Khoisan and the color is when they look at us. Because if you are from Cape Town, you look a certain way. The Khoisan, it depends on where you are, you look a certain way. If you are in the Karoo, you look a certain way. If you are in Namibia, you look a certain way. It is all because of geographics that defines our
Mm,
feet, and somehow for every other nation, this is fine. Some to have broader noses, some to have slimmer noses, some to have straight hair, to have curlier hair. It all seems to be accepted in other nations, but when it comes to the Khoisan, they expect us all to look maybe like the Hisekwas, or they expect us all to look like the Namas,
mm,
or look like the Bushmen. Then you are not part of these people. It is insane to me because if I go to Europe, some people are redheads, some people are blonde, some people are
mm,
redheads, and some people have freckles, some people have lighter skin, some have darker skin. Still white, but it fluctuates. But you know,
mm,
just because she's a redhead and she's a bit wider, doesn't
mm,
put her outside of the fold of what she is. She's still Caucasian. She's
mm,
still European. So same with the Bantus. You get Bantus with broader noses, shallower noses. You get the flat face. You get the. But when it comes to Khoisan, somehow we all need to look like a Bushman to be identified
mm,
as a.
mm, mm,
Southern Africa is huge. You get South Africa, which is I think it's twice the size of Texas. Gosh, I'm going to look that up. The circumference of Southern Africa. You have South
mm,
Africa, you have Namibia,
mm,
you have Zambia, you have Zimbabwe, you have Botswana. These are vast, extensive places. And so we will all look different, you know? It
mm,
doesn't make
mm,
koi and still koi. But the lies that came in that said, in order for us to strip these people completely, if we want to annihilate these people's identity, then we tell them they are not even who they say they are.
mm,
Now, I'm not um, African, I'm a mixture. So I can't have this is the crux of the matter, and everybody should know this. The reason why they do that is because of land. Because if they recognize that we are one nation, whether you are Nama, Tamara, uh, uh, Bushman, Griqua, Horigokwa, like myself, Hisekwa, whatever if we realize that these people are one nation, like the Bantus, one nation, whether they are Kosa, whether they are Zulu, whether they are Isipedi, they are one nation. We get it, right? They're claiming one nation, Bantus. So are we. We are one nation and we span Southern Africa. Now, I'm not saying this, people must understand, for diversity, for there to be separation. I'm saying as long as we are denied, we spoke earlier about righteousness and sacredness. If one of the two is missing, then it is an illusion, it is a false picture. By denying who I am, by denying who I am, you are not being righteous in your actions and your deeds because you are greedy. You want the land. No
mm,
koi. All the land is for everybody up for grabs. And colored people are still confused and don't know where they belong. That is why I say what we have been going through and what the African Americans have been going through. in America is so similar. I find great uh, understanding with them and their search for who they are.
Mm. 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 Yeah, sis, like in Namibia, we have the Nama Damara, we have the what they call colored, we have the
Yes,
bastard people,
yes,
which was the names were given to us.
yes, yes.
And mostly we are in, like I said, the mostly my people are residing in the south, which
Mm,
is Rehoboth, which is Keetmanshoop, which is Mariental, which is Kalkrant. It's all those places is where my people are. And then you will also find us among the Tswana people, but the Tswana people claim they are Bantu. So
yeah,
I've
see,
heard.
here too, in South Africa too. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So you will find them in in the capital city, which is Windhoek, here and there, not too much. But then you will find them also among the coastline here where I reside, in Henties Bay. They are a lot. We are a lot here,
Mm,
and Sokopmund and Warfish Bay.
mm,
And then there's smaller places like before you actually come entering the coast way by the seaside, you will find Usakos and Karibet. Well, there you will find most of our people.
mm,
And then when you go to the north, Omaruru district and Damaraland, there
mm.
is where our Brandberg is. It's
Yes.
mostly that's like Korigas. You can even
Mm,
hear the name
the other
Korigas.
name, yeah, yeah, it's going,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and there's a place that I tell my sister that me and her and our other friends should go visit. It's Fontaine.
Mm,
It's I've never been there, but I've heard a lot about the place, and I think it's more to that Brandberg side.
right,
Yeah.
right. Mm,
So those are the places where our people are mostly occupying. Then you will get our northern side, which is Ondangwa and Otavi, those places. We will also find most of our people in Otavi, Ochu, and so on and so forth. But like my sister said, it's like it's a continuous, I won't say a continuous war among us, but there's always misunderstanding within communities about who is this and who is that and who is better than this, especially among our people. Among, if you could go to smaller places like in Rehoboth, you will see the Damara and our, which they call colored. Actually, they are one people, but
yes,
there was a division that was brought among us, like this race are better than this. But at the end of the day, we are one race. But
yes,
it was
yes,
brought to us like you are not one race. So that's a forever fighting that's going on, and people are just like in denial of who they are. But then you will find a few of our colored people who will claim that they are Khoisan. And then you will see the proudness in how they bring out whatever information they have concerning their great grandparents and talking about it with so much praise. And it's quite nice to have conversation with our old people because there you will find a lot of truths.
yes,
And I find it funny for us not to practice what our elders did due to what was given to us. But our elders didn't might they might not have told us about our history a lot, but they've lived our history. Like, for
Yes.
instance, I grew up with my grandparents and my great grandmother. I saw her, but not, I can still remember her, but not that well. But they lived the life, they lived the Khoisan life, the authentic life, the life that we were supposed to live today. But like my sister said, we are moving into the age of Aquarius, which is already, the shift is already happening. And we are moving back to that, how life
Yes.
used to be. And that we should always practice righteousness. Like, I'm including myself into this conversation. Like, I also have to practice that. And there's no time for any mishaps, which we have here and there. So, and that we should live a sacred life,
Mm,
doing things, make more contact with Mother Earth, do sacred things, give praise to nature. You know,
mm,
like right now, all over the world, what's happening is there's a lot of floods going on. And
mm,
recently, it really happened here within our own environment where we reside. Like by
mm,
me in Henry's Bay, there's always been a high tide since last week, and there was a car that has been found. It was pulled in by the sea, and it was in
mm,
quite a condition, a bad condition. So 2 days after that, then I saw something on Facebook about there by Cape Town, there where my sister resides. It's another flood that's going on there. So some say it's global warming, some say, but for me, it's just nature at work, and that
mm,
we should live a sacred life, that we should
mm,
do what's right,
mm,
and that we should do what is the right thing, that we should always remain in that God mind. Coming back to our people, I would love to, when we speak about the Bantu people, we usually don't mean to speak or to sound like we are speaking down on anybody. But as far as I know, and as far as they came here, they left us here when they went, and then they came back claiming things after, I can say, after most of the things was over. They
mm,
came back, they resided. Most of them went to the colonizer. Most of them joined teams with the colonizer, and
mm,
most of them make deals with the colonizer, which was unfortunately against, didn't play in our people's favor. So I have a message for my Khoisan people, which is that the day we take hands and stand together is the day that things will come right. The day we acknowledge who we are, the day we follow our traditions, our beliefs that was left for us, we will we will forever be blessed. We are blessed already, I believe. And it's because of us that everything is still in tune. It's because of us that everything is still going on. But back to the Bantus, you are our children. And we understand that you also want acknowledgement. But by denying us, will not bring us any comfort. It won't bring us any clarity. That is also part of your truth. To know that you are part of us, that we see you as our children. And we would like you to consider this, that you should really look into that. I'm not here to beg anyone or to talk bad on anyone. I'm just asking that whenever we speak about the Bantu, the Khoisan people were actually we are very loving people. We knew no violence. We lived without fences. I told my sister the other day, there were no fences among neighbors. I could walk easily up to my neighbor and go ask for something. And that's fortunately for me, that is how I saw my grandmother them live in the past. Um, there were no secrets, so I thought there were no secrets among them. This neighbor would go away for a weekend. That would even leave their key to the next door neighbor for them to go check on the house if everything is okay. So I hope that we can come together as one nation and once and for all put all whatever happened among us behind us.
Mm,
Thank you,
mm,
sis.
mm. That is, I think, the hope for all of us, that especially the Khoisan, because our very existence depends on it. I think we thought after apartheid that we will get, finally, we would get our rightful place at the table of who we are and what we are, but all we got was more of the same abuse. There's I think it's a Equity Employment Act that was
Mm,
passed, where it says that coloureds, which is the Khoisan, fall under the same category as the Indian,
mm,
the minority. We are seen as African, but not black, right? And only Africans who are black benefit off the system. Then that
mm.
means you are native.
Yes.
There's no good telling me that I am an African, which I am, but I'm not black, putting me outside of the fold, putting me with the other. And yet first of I'm the first year before anybody came. 3,000 years ago, for those viewers who want to research this, the Bantus are called the Bantus because the Bantus are a tribe.
Mm,
This tribe many, many different countries across the continent. They are in Somalia, they are in Nigeria, they are in Burkina Faso, they are in Angola, they are in just everywhere. Right, Bantus. Um, I've even, like I said, I've even seen people getting DNA tested and they are Somalian and then they have Bantu DNA and they're always really surprised because the Somalians and the Ethiopians have this identity where they say they are not black. They say they're African, but
mm.
not. Um, they wish they were us. We wish we were them, getting the
Mm,
recognition. And that is the Bantus. But being Khoisan, being colored, Khois you find mostly in southern Africa that I know of. You do find Khoi in Botswana. You do find Khoi in Namibia. You do find Khoi in Angola. But the Khoi are predominantly this side of the world, where the sun down. When I first visited the north of Namibia, I realized for the first time I heard my name.
mm,
This is their tribe, and this is a family name, and nobody knew where the name comes from. But here is a whole tribe named after this family name that we've been
mm,
given. And so there's always been, so whether you call yourself Khoi, whether you call yourself San,
yes.
you are one
Mm,
nation. Whether you call yourself Zulu, whether you call yourself Koza, Isipedis, whatever you say, you are Bantu.
yes.
Whether you say you are Damara, whether you say you are Khoi, it's one nation. We are one nation. We are a nation.
Mm,
We are a nation of people. Um, I always like to use this example when I talk to people. Um, I say the first war that occurred here on South African soil with the Europeans, there were various skirmishes. The skirmishes are not so much in the history books. They don't talk about the skirmishes in the 1500s when we first met them. 14, as a matter of fact, the 1400s when we first met them. As a matter of fact, the Chinese were already here. But we were trading. We were trading with the Chinese. It's in the history. We were trading with the Chinese. We were trading with the Europeans. Not the Zulus. The Bantus. They had not even made contact with the Bantus yet. There's no written, oral, nothing history. The history comes when coming to Southern Africa, the Khoisan people. But anyway, the first war breaks out in South Africa between us and the Europeans. And that happened in 1659.
mm,
16, you must listen to this now, people. In 1659, the first war breaks out in South Africa, in Southern Africa, between the Khoisan and the Europeans.
mm,
For 120 years, for 100, no, 120 years. His great grandmothers are already, we're talking 4 generations. You can pass four,
thank,
5 generations in 100 years. 120 years. That is the first time that the Europeans encounter the Xhosas. There's a Xhosa war going on.
mm,
But for 120 years before the first Xhosa war, the ones that they tell us about in the history books, was in 1779. And the Xhosas say they were in the Western Cape. If you were in the Western Cape, if you were in Cape Town, where the first wars broke out in Cape Town, our people, where were you if you were in Cape Town? Why is it only in the history books that they fought Khoisan for 120 years? And when the Khoisan was defeated and pushed back into the Karoo and into these Eastern Cape, and when we started fleeing, not that we weren't familiar with the places, just the big tribes, the city tribes, they migrated that way. And that's when they encountered the Bantus. A hundred
mm,
and years later. And to go through that history, to know that your ancestors fought and protected and made sure that everybody was safe. They could have easily said, listen, there's a couple of other people on that side. Just go right over there. We'll help you, whatever.
mm,
But they didn't do that. They protected the entirety of all the nations because they understood that we are one. We are African. We are African. And that is what I want to convey, I think, tonight.
mm,
That we African are one. Bantu, Khoi, Pygmy, whatever you want to call yourself. So
mm,
Somalians, they want to be black. The Ethiopians that say they are Arabs. You are black. We are one. Do not fall for the ploy of the devil who has put your parents out of paradise. Do not let
Mm.
put you out of your homes too. That is what the Quran says.
Mm.
We are
Yes,
a
yes.
we are,
Mm. Mm.
we
Yeah.
are a proud
Yeah.
nation. And we have culture and we have heritage and we have tradition. And we are not mixed. For goodness sakes, we are not mixed. How? I said the other day the math doesn't even math. Like the young ones say, the math isn't even mathing. You mean to tell me the just in Cape Town alone, the amount of people that they call coloreds here, that you are saying a Bantu, a, a Asian person, or European, these three got together and somehow made all these colored people. How many Europeans came? How many Asians came? How many Bantu women were taken? And where's my Bantu grandmother? And where's my
Mm.
Dutch father or my German grandfather? Because this didn't happen 500 years ago, people. They started really interacting with us now in the 19th century. They started coitusing with us, having relations with us. If I had a white ancestor or Asian ancestor somewhere from my Khoi side, surely I would have known, I would have heard about them.
Mm.
Are you telling me that my Bantu grandmother left me somewhere in Cape Town after she gave birth to me? And I randomly found some random people that could take care of me. What nonsense, what fallacies is this? It doesn't make sense. We are the biggest nation in Southern Africa. The colored Khoisan are the biggest nation in Southern Africa. How could they produce all of us? And we are these people that you say I come from. My great grandmother was dark like the universe. My
Mm.
grandfather was dark like the universe. My grandmother was a Nama lady, lighter features, softer hair. And so we came out looking like this. Because two Khoi
Yes.
people from two different nations, from two different tribes got
Mm.
together and introduced me.
Mm.
Didn't look like this because what madness is this?
Yeah, so the people, me as well, we should do more research and we should talk more to elderly people. You will hear amazing stories. So who are the ones that should tell these stories? Who are the ones? Just us.
Just us.
So even if you read some of these history books that the colonizer made up, those are just made up books. There's half truths in that books.
Half truths, full
And
lies.
one should just I like to speak to older people and ask them about where they are coming from. And
Mm,
like I said, you will hear amazing stories. It's like listening to story. In fact, they are the greatest storytellers of all time.
yes, yes.
You
We
will
have a gift.
hear some familiar things that you might have encountered within your families as well. And then you
Yes.
will find out how similar we are, how authentic we were and are still very authentic people. We like to do things the right way. Like
Mm,
I said in the other podcast, like in our Bantu tribe, um, you will still find men with 3 to 4 different wives. But that thing was never in a Khoisan house. It was against our law to have
it's again
more than
one
two
wife.
wives. I mean, more than one wife. It wasn't allowed to have 2 or 3 or 4 wives.
Polygamy was not
Yeah.
allowed. Polygamy was not allowed. No. Yeah.
Mm,
And so
yeah.
that's also another reason why I think Christianity and Islam took so much to our um, nation, because it
Mm,
what we already inherently knew, monogamy, one man, one woman, one God,
yeah.
you know, take care of nature, take care of your soul.
Yeah. And the other day, I read something about someone saying it's a colonizer that brought this thing of monogamy in. It isn't the colonizer thing, it's who we
No,
are.
we've
We
practiced
had
it.
one, yes, it's us. Nothing
Yes.
to do with the colon. There's so much things
The
that I
Bantus,
see people.
however, they do practice polygamy. The Bantus do practice
Mm,
polygamy.
mm. There's so
But
much
Bantu
things that
all over Africa practice polygamy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's so many other things that I see that happening among our clan that
Yeah. Our
they
nation.
portray
We should
they
start calling ourselves a
yes,
nation. Yeah.
yes, they say it's something to do with a colonizer, but that's a topic for another time, which we will enlighten you, all God willing, in the future about all the other things. And there's so many other things that they want to portray. It's nothing of us.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly when you read through these comments, it's mostly just the Bantu people, my children, who denies all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Even the one man, one woman relationship. They are
Mm-hmm.
even, I won't say they are against it, but they are practicing it. So yeah, that's
So
a topic for
Khoisan,
another
I,
time.
I just want to clarify that when you say our children, why do we say Bantus are our children? Because Khoisan's DNA is the oldest DNA. We are the oldest Homo sapiens. We are the first human beings when our DNA was tested. Um, and so everything starts from us, right? And so the Bantus are are what comes after us. Like every First Nation, you have a First Nation, and then the nations after that. Sometimes the kids look a bit different. Sometimes they, but it's still one nation. The natives still produced the entire nation, and so Bantus are, gosh, our children is what we believe. But the children are
Mm,
denying their parents, putting their parents out of their homes. It's too
mm,
sad. Mm. They actually don't even recognize us. They say, no,
mm,
no, you are not even part of us. And
mm,
yet we have a history here. I think for the longest times, Africans have relied on others to tell their stories, to tell them who they are, what they must believe in. I think we don't think that we are smart enough to do it. We don't think that we are worthy. That colonizer mentality is still in us. I This BRICS thing blows my mind. Um, I was watching this new Ibrahim. Gosh, I'm going to butcher his surname now. He's the young military guy that took over um, Niger,
yeah,
and
yeah,
young man is sitting there across the table from Putin, and Putin is looking at him, up and down as he's talking, and he's sitting looking straight face at Putin, saying, "We are so glad that we have allies, and the Russians have always been our friend." And I'm like, why?
mm,
You bowing again?
mm,
Do you not understand that they need you?
mm,
We don't give, we, we don't believe we can do it on our own, yet we are the creators of this universe. We are the
mm,
inventors of the universe.
mm,
And the sooner we start realizing that We don't need anybody else's help. We have everything we need to succeed as Africans.
mm,
Yeah. First, first we have to recognize that we are Africans. We are Black Africans. This is our continent. This is the soil is what I am made of. This is my heritage.
yes.
This is our heritage. Africa is
Mm,
each and every one of us, George. And the only way we win, because this is a war. It might not be a physical war. It is a war. And the only way we win is to stand together. The only way we win is to teach one another. In America, they have this each one teach one philosophy. It was in the 1970s for the Nation of Islam. Each one teach one.
mm,
And so this, what is his name? Uh, Gosh, I can't get to the name now. He's the Nation of Islam. He founded the Nation of Islam. He went into Detroit, the worst, the lowest impoverished city in America, in the US, violence, and he went in there and he changed Detroit's energy completely. He changed the people's mindsets. The Black Panthers came in, they did food runs, the city was growing, and then all of a sudden
mm,
people became terrorists. But
mm,
we can Tulsa in the USA, we can do it.
mm,
It's burn it down once we do it. They destroy it when we show one another what we can do. When we manifest it and here it is and it's working and it's successful, you know?
mm,
So we must start believing in ourselves. We don't need Russia. We don't need China
mm, mm.
coming to mess us up more. All we need is one another. We have everything we need.
Sure. Yeah, so I I think this is we should call it a night.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Let's
people,
call it a
that was our message tonight, and hopefully it was enlightened. And most of the things, most of us already know that what is going on around the world, and it's all over the news, all over social media, and one has to stay woke. We have to stay
stay
woke.
woke. Stay woke.
Yeah,
Stay woke. Stay woke.
mm, stay woke.
Stay woke.
Yes, so,
So this is
viewers, mm, yes, please
sorry.
proceed.
No, 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 no. Sorry for interrupting your wisdom. Sorry to interrupting your
Yeah.
wisdom. Carry on.
Yes, so viewers, thank you for tuning into our podcast. Hopefully, you've enjoyed it. And there's something that I wanted to read, but I wrote it down earlier, but it seems I cannot find it.
Okay.
So I
This
wanted to read it to,
you wanted to read it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but it seems
There's
like
always next
I can't.
always next time. Maybe on the next one, the next episode that we start off with that, with what you wanted to read.
Mm,
Yes, we can
yes, but
start.
thank you so much for tuning in, and may you have a blessed night. May we continue to look or search for one another. May we continue to pray for one another because all of us are going through a lot right now.
Mm.
But I pray for light and love in each and of our homes, each and our my home, your home. So please bear
Ashay.
with bear with yourselves, bear with your loved ones. I know it's not easy. We all go through this. but let's stay calm. And I'm speaking over myself. A lot of light, love, understanding, perseverance, and
Mm.
I bless you with it as well. And hopefully God will, God will. So
God
hopefully
will.
I will, and you will do
Yes.
things accordingly. But thank you so much for your time, viewers. Back to you, sis.
On that note, thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video, and tell friends and family if you found our channel and our discussions interesting. Please tell your friends and family to tune in. Khoisan Talks. We are also on Instagram under Khoisan Talks, and we are busy, or I'm busy. We are busy working behind the scenes to get the setup better. But
Mm,
I'm just grateful that you guys came every week and you tune in, and we see the numbers growing, and we see the people commenting, and uh, light and life over everybody who watches,
mm,
and love over
mm,
everybody. May you
mm,
stay in gratitude. May you stay in your peace. May the blessings of the Most High, God our Father, ever follow you, or the universe, whatever you may call it. May that light ever always follow you, and may that light burn bright inside of you.
mm.
Uh,
Okay.
thank you,
Thank you
everybody.
so much, sis.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Love you guys.
Wonderful.
Bye, sis.
Lovely.
Bye.
Bye.